we are breaking the silence of being seen. How stepping into the spotlight, even with the fear of judgment, can unlock your next level. Hello and welcome to Talking with Teri TV. I am your host, Teri Karjala. Thank you for joining me on this Entrepreneur Girlfriend Hour, along with our live in-studio co-creators. We are Colorado's first transformational talk show where we activate, elevate, and transform. For those that are new to me, I've taken my 28 years of counseling experience, combined it with energy psychology, and applied the principles of quantum physics to help us tap back into our purpose, passion, and our potency. Let's hear from all of you. Let's see what's coming up from all of you. Normally, when I'm doing this, I usually get a download the day before or a few days before, and today I didn't. So we're going to get to play with what is actually coming in the room today.
I had a conversation with someone, I'll make this quick, is that there's energetic frequency, love, greed, hate, and that top, love and peace. And what I found so fascinating was Teri said authenticity was at the top. And I go, okay, and then I researched it, and a lot of people were saying that it's higher than love or peace.
Higher than even appreciation.
It's still high. It's still high. I don't know where it's at, but it's high up there. Yeah,
I think because I believe love is at the tippity top.
Same.
And peace
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
authenticity. But that's interesting what you're saying, because you were authentically lovely.
Yeah.
And you could feel that. And I'm really good at observing that. And so every time I come into a room with you, I feel your welcomeness and your sweetness and just who you are. So you emanate happiness.
And you're authentic.
That's right, being authentic. Everybody else is taken, so be yourself.
I love it. That's
and
beautiful.
People have a problem with that because they don't feel good about themselves.
So
It's not about you. It's like, I don't like her, I need to put her on my level. Because I'm very authentic also, and I don't really give a shit what people say. She's like, can't be around me.
I had a friend one time, we went to a networking event, and she told another friend we brought, she goes, watch her work the room. And I took that very personal, as in, I'm working the room. Because it wasn't that way for me. I was meeting people, I was,
whether being yourself,
being
right?
authentic, I was wanting to engage, and she took it as I was using it, I was abusing it, or whatever it was, and I was like, wow.
She took it as that,
how
or you
did you
took it
feel?
as
I
that?
took it as that because that's how she meant it.
My daughter had a conference that night, so I go home and I'm like, I better dress down because I'm going to be too dressed out. So I put on a pair of jeans and a cute little blouse, and I still had my earrings on. I'm not going to change that, and I still have my jewelry on, right? And I just kept the same heels on, and I dressed down, and as I was walking into the school, there was a lady sitting on a park bench, and she said it under her breath, but I could still hear it. She goes, wow, look at her. She's very fancy for the conferences. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I dressed down.
Here, it's the eyelashes. I hate
the
to tell you,
eyelashes.
but they're dead.
No, it's the earrings.
But I was like, oh my goodness, right? It's our perceptions become reality, and it's really fascinating. Yeah, you were just mentioning that. I don't
I
think
would
it's.
take that as the highest compliment.
Yeah.
Like, as somebody who's out working all the time for the last 20 years,
Yeah.
that's a talent.
Yeah.
That's a positive talent.
Yeah.
That brings business and high energy.
It's a good way to refocus it for me, because for me
reframe
it was
it.
reframing it, because it was like as if it wasn't genuine, and I don't want to be disingenuous.
Because they used the word work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a negative.
Yeah.
So I would take that negatively because of my limiting beliefs about myself, because of my past, because of the trauma. So that would make me feel very uncomfortable with that she had said that. But see how you look at it, it was beautiful. Isn't that interesting?
But I love that you fact checked it. I love that you didn't let it go on.
Yeah.
Because you could have left that event and been like, wow, she's really thinking this about me. But you fact checked it. I loved it.
Teri, you give yourself a lot of permission to be visible, which is a beautiful thing. And a lot of people don't. They're too afraid to be fully expressed, because I think everybody's creative and not everybody's expressing their creativity. Because fashion is creative.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
wouldn't say that's always been the case for me. I was extraordinarily shy. Some of you have known my story. Super shy when I was a kid. And so it wasn't until, and now looking back, I realized it was a download. But prior, I was so shy. And in 6th grade, I said, you know what, I got to figure out some way not to be so shy. So I signed up for the only thing you couldn't be shy for. Any guesses? Some of you know this answer. Yeah, I signed up for being cheerleader. And so I had to fake it until I made it. And I don't necessarily agree to always that concept. Maybe it's the better way to say that is I had to get so uncomfortable to get comfortable with it, right? But then that allowed me to get more out there and more out there. And believe it or not, people will not believe this, but when I go into a room where I don't know a lot of people, if there's 50 people I don't know, I will have to override my shyness. People don't believe that about me, but I do have a little bit of like, okay, Teri, you got this, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that natural shyness, bless you, that natural shyness still is, that hangs out there. But that's a great, yes. And I think as entrepreneurs, we do have to get out there. We do have to be visible. Like you said, working the room or doing it for 20 years, because I always tell people you cannot be the best kept secret in business. If you're going to have a brand, have a business, you have to be visible in some ways or some capacity, right?
Absolutely.
There's people that are in rooms without them being in rooms. And Teri is one of them. And I rep her. Last night, I was like, you have to go to Teri! And your energy is like a firecracker and the most beautiful lights and sparkles and wonderfulness. And it makes people feel great. And this is something that when it comes, we had talked about the naturally part, but when you are who you are, whether or not you have to turn it on or turn it up is different. And we're here today because of you, at least I am, and to support who you are because you're meant to shine. And that's how I view you. The moment I met you, we were at our church and one of our friends was like, you must meet Teri. And I was like, okay. And we hit it off the bat and we have our friendships, and I'm so excited to watch this journey because I just want to see you just catapult even further than you are because you are a light on this earth that people need to experience.
Oh, thank you. I did not pay her to say that.
You should.
I want to congratulate you for taking that next step when you got out of your comfort zone and became a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Because when I was in high school, I had the very same thing, shy as shy could be. And so I said, okay, I'm going to go be a cheerleader. And my girlfriend and I had to try out as the two of us in front of this whole audience. And I lost my voice. I did the cheers. I knew what I was doing. I was speaking it out, but nothing was coming out. So you don't think that's embarrassing, but as I grew older, getting into sales is how I got out of mine. But I commend you for doing that because when you're still in school, it's a great time to do it.
Yeah. Oh, I was mortified. Trust
Scary.
me, mortified. And I always joke that they either felt bad for me or they needed an extra body. That's the only way I got accepted. Let's be real. I like this conversation about visibility and being seen because yes, we almost have to. I don't know. Let me just ask you this: does it come natural for people to be visible?
No,
Yeah.
it does come down.
Did it always?
Did it always come natural? Born that way. I was born, baby, I was born that way.
I was. And it's the sense that I also like to lift people up. I also love to lift people up because people have it in them, like you're saying. And what you're saying is about turning it on is when someone else has a light, it lights up the space for others to light up and to be that. And so when I say born that way, it's part of my mission to help people because they can start seeing their magic. And sometimes what you study, it's mindset and awakening and attention. And so that's what I was born to help other people do it. And you said you were.
Hey, Jackie, before you do that, come up here for a second. Okay, so here's the thing is, because I think as entrepreneurs and women, okay, how many of you can relate to this? You're at an event and you have women that are not supportive of other women. Because I think that's because I think that it was interesting because I was interviewing Judy Shepard-Missett. She's the owner of Jazzercise, which is a $8 billion company. And she said, you know what, I just have always surrounded myself with women just that are supportive and got my back. And I was like, that is so amazing because I was like, I don't know that I've always experienced that. Does that make sense to people? When you're visible, I think sometimes haters come out and try to be the dream stealer and try to pull you down, because I've had many of those experiences.
Would you like me to comment on that?
Yes, please.
One of the most beautiful things that I've found is that people like to see you fail.
Yeah.
And they like to see you on the ground. But what I've learned is they like to see you rise. And that's one of the things that I've found is in high school or wherever I was in my life, I looked perfect in the sense of, in some people's eyes, I don't know about everybody's, but in some people's eyes that didn't know my life, because I was silent about dyslexia, silent about bipolar, silent about my other experiences. And that's why I say cancer was an experience. When people see me light up a room, they have no idea what I've been through until I started expressing myself, because I had all these perspectives. It's people really might not want you to suffer, but the fact they love to see you win. And that's what I found so powerful. So the moment that I became out of my shell of struggle, perseverance, torture.
Friends don't let friends shop for health insurance alone, especially online with a bottle of wine. Skip the spammy calls, endless emails, confusing options. We've got you covered, literally. I'm Deb Salmons with Imagine Choice Customized Health Solutions. No more guesswork. We shop for best plans for you with lower rates the healthier you are. We personalize your plans with confidential information, and it's hassle-free. Let us take the stress off your plate so you can focus on what matters most. Imagine Choice Health Insurance with a human touch.
And you have no idea. And then going back to you, or anyone in this room, we all have internal battles and struggles. It's how we deal with it.
Yeah.
So for you, I don't know if everyone, I know her on different levels, is that, I'm not going to say everything that you told me, I promise. I promise. But you have suffered and you have gone through horrible things in your life. All of us have different stories. But one of the reasons is it's so magical is you share your story and you share those pitfalls, those aspects of on the ground, is because people want hope that you can rise up.
Yeah.
And you're a prime example.
That was not my story at all, because I was traditionally trained as a therapist. You don't talk about yourself at all. And I just had to, everything's great. So I think people perceived me as always was great. So what happened was by default, people wouldn't help me. People wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, Teri, you're fantastic, you're great, you don't need help, you don't need support, you don't need da-da-da. And I'm like, what part of me is not saying something else? And so it was a different world that way, because we were so conditioned and trained to not say anything about ourselves. And it took me forever. When I first started posting on social media, I'm like, someone's gonna totally bust me because I'm posting something about my life. It was the craziest thing.
I still debate whether or not I should post something. During my cancer experience, when I thought I would die, and I could have died multiple times, I was a lot more expressive and free. I was like, my message is meant to help people. My struggle is meant to be heard, seen. Yeah. I could feel myself with losing my hair, crying, all the awful parts, to also see the celebratory parts. When we deal with this in our lives, it's interesting. But now, 2 years went by, and I realized I was gonna live, maybe, right? Yeah. And I'm way more censored. I'm way more censored about letting people in my life. I'm way more censored about sharing anything. Because before it was...
I noticed that when we first met, because I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And she refused to eat
while cutting my salad, by the way.
Long story. Okay, if you guys want to know, I'll tell you afterwards why I did that. I like my salads geriatric style, and I was explaining to her geriatric style.
She did a really
salad.
good job, I swear.
It's
really
delicious.
good job.
Is it like
delicious.
Yeah, it's like chopped salad. It's so much better, and I think that really helps me want to eat salad in front of people, but then it's awkward. You're like, who is this chick? It's cutting your salad. I don't even know what people around us thought about, because we were like laughing. And she's loud.
Oh my, I'm a loud laugher. I'm a loud laugher.
So am I. You're like, she's really funny. She is.
Okay, so where were we at? Oh my gosh.
Censored.
Yeah.
Because I was raised I was always
Yeah.
really private. That's what I'm saying. Private about dyslexia, no one. Private about bipolar, 19 years, no one knew. And then like going on that way. And then when I was expressing the fact that you saw me struggle and you saw me down to watch me get back up, a couple years later, and I had the future, I wouldn't post. I still won't. I've lots of videos that would help people. I know they would, but they're just too vulnerable to tell about my life. And I started making music, and there's songs that I've created the lyrics for that I will not share. Because I realize that I do visual art and anything that has a surface, and I want to hear what you have to say too to engage you.
Yeah.
It's just when I realized music was so personal, and I just went through a breakup and I don't speak about it. It's really private to me, even though I made the decision. It's just something she would ask. She started engaging me in questions. And there's so much that we'll talk offline about this, but it goes back into what we were talking about earlier with authenticity. It's not, I was trying to, because she made that comment, and I go, I don't think everyone needs to hear about my life on an intimate level. I opened so much of my life up for cancer. I almost deleted everything. I was like, I don't want people to have access. This is too much for me. I can't have this, because people knew my suffering.
Yeah.
It was just,
Speak
I think
about
there's
that now, though. Don't you tell people about your...
oh yeah, that's why it's good to have
Okay,
that.
that's
Yeah.
what
But
I thought.
it's-
I just wanted to
it-
get clear. I'm
yeah.
like, wait a minute, you're telling about, but so you've
But-
opened up again.
No.
Oh,
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I have a choice, but I was going to delete what I shared, but I shared it with the cancer experience intention to help people, but then I felt really vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I don't go into my loved ones' lives or from different aspects of my life, but it was to help about the cancer experience. Way too vulnerable. Okay, for when
Yeah.
you share, anyone in here, do you feel when you post, now it's total, what's someone gonna think? Is this gonna affect this
Yeah.
aspect of my life if I have this or that?
Yeah.
I'm always been in my head, but there was a freeing sense when I could die and be able to just help people, my
Yeah.
pure passion. And please tell me like
Yeah.
your experience,
Yeah.
because you were saying with you posting on social media, someone's gonna tell me that I'm too much or
Yeah.
things like that. So I'm just curious.
I've gone through phases, and I think
Yeah.
it's appropriate. I think we gotta trust ourselves. I will always tell people, do not post if you're not feeling it. If you guys have not been noticing, I haven't been posting lately in the last like couple months, because I'm redefining like what does that mean to post and what does that mean to be out there again, because I'm actually like going through this really interesting phase too. And I don't even know what I can say. And it's funny because like literally yesterday I was like, am I ready to start posting again? And again, my team posts for me, but there's things I post that are like me, right? And so there's a difference there.
Yeah.
But I think there's a balance, right? I wouldn't want anyone to post anything if it's not gonna feel authentically you.
Yeah.
And also, at the same token, when you do post your stuff, there's going to be haters and there's going to be amazing lovers that is going to love your stuff. When we're in alignment with what our purpose and passion is, and we're posting in our potency of that, the people that we are here to reach are here to hear that message. And that's how we can serve in a bigger way. But again, like, I don't want you posting something that you're going to regret, because it's an energy of it, right? There's been times when I don't post because I'm in a funk. How many of you personally censor yourself when you're putting yourself online? How about you? Because you do a lot of posting.
Yeah, I do.
You do? Do you find yourself personally censoring?
I would say it's really important to be authentic, but I don't share the
Whole story.
whole story, and I definitely don't. I don't go too high, and I don't go too low.
Yeah.
so you
Be-
censor.
Yeah, and part of that is so that I can live somewhere in between, because that's, I think, with what we do,
Yeah.
we carry people at one of the biggest stress periods of their
Yeah,
life, and
for
they
sure.
don't need somebody who's losing their mind.
Yeah.
So
I agree. There's a level of professionalism, right? I think most businesses out there, if you have a brand and that's part of your brand, that you can share the lows, absolutely. But to your point, you're a professional company. You're a professional.
usually
business.
we're working in the $1 million range for
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
They don't want to think that you're losing your mind, and
Yeah, for sure.
and I also balance, but I also do that because I work with my spouse, And I expect him to do the same thing because he could go off the whole good old boys side.
Yeah.
And that's not okay either for
Yeah,
us. We
yeah.
have to be somewhere. But if you ever watch us online
Yeah.
and we're online all the time, we're definitely not straight and narrow either.
Yeah.
We just bounce hard.
But you guys have that personality built in, and you've done it long enough, I'm assuming, that you have found what works, right?
It's kind of how we are, period.
But that's in itself, it's being authentic, right?
Yeah.
That's when people see you online, that's what they're going to get when they're working with you.
And that's why we go online, is so
Yeah.
that people
Yeah.
will see us.
Yeah.
A lot of times I bring in a lot of referrals. He does contracts, right? He is.
Yeah.
So when I work with a lot of women, they have to be comfortable with it. So I put
Yeah.
him online on purpose so that
Yeah.
he is,
See?
they get a feel for his personality, because you don't want me working contracts.
Yeah.
That's not my, that's not my strength, that's his. We do that on purpose.
Yeah. So going back to you.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah, of course.
Back when COVID happened, this is gonna incorporate with yours.
Yeah.
Back when COVID happened, people started talking about mental health. And that became more widely expressed with people. People would say, I have ADHD, I have dyslexia, I have this, I have bipolar, I have whatever. When I grew up, dyslexia, I didn't want people to think that I would mess up on something. When I had bipolar back in 2007, when I was diagnosed, the conversation about that was, someone is crazy, they go back left, they're unpredictable. And that has a stigma.
Yep.
And labeling yourself with whatever you're doing is really hard. And then with the cancer experience, someone could be like, oh, she's gonna die soon. Like, why work with her? Why would you
Yeah.
have this experience?
Yeah.
And when you're censoring with what you express online, it can be very interesting, because what I view is you don't know your audience. You do not know who's watching you post and share.
Yeah.
I'm very curated even during my cancer experience, but what you're saying is, I like that you're authentic and you show yourself, and I would love to watch some of your videos to see more aspects about yourself, and when you are comfortable with people and you have this type of conversation.
Yeah. So moving through this, where's the happy medium for you?
A happy medium
Yeah.
in what way?
Because you said you're not posting, and you know that you could be posting to help people.
I do post, but it's more, I was always intentional, even through my cancer experience. Very intentional. It's almost the fear of being judged, because I really care what people think.
Yeah.
It's really important to me. I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to say something that will negatively affect someone's day. And it's not that I didn't through my cancer experience,
Yeah.
but now it's like, I don't want my life in public and all the levels that I was willing to.
Yeah.
Again, not my love life, not my family before, or my friends.
Yeah.
But I feel the fear of being judged, or the fear of, what if this video, this share, could negatively impact someone without even the intention, without
Yeah.
even the thought. And so having the curation of figuring out what to share.
That seems very, now I'm going to go into my head to methodically think about, to make sure I can't offend anyone, right? Because even with your experience that you were just talking about, your filter read that comment as a negative when everyone in this room was like, that's not a negative, right? So I think it's very hard to not offend anybody, because it could be that I'm having a bad day, and anything and everyone's going to offend me, right?
I think the offensive part, it's not that it's just,
But it's also your intent. You're not intentionally going out there to offend somebody.
but I also have very obscure perspectives. This room seems to be an audience that would want to watch the video, that would align with what I say. Some, not everyone would align, but I'm speaking with y'all and I'm hearing with what you have to say. My family is so supportive and so loving. I posted a video about how AI could be communicating through art. And I had sunglasses on, and my family knows I'm bipolar, and they're very sensitive, so I don't go manic, because that's really scary for me. Other people might like it. I do not. And so when I had posted this, it was so obscure and so strange that even my family was like, hey, you okay? Need an extra in Vega? And I was like, I'll take it. I'm fine. And then I posted it with the intention and kept it up because I knew it was meant to be heard, regardless if I looked weird or not. Because I've had conversations with AI experts.
Yeah.
And I've had people that speak upon AI, have AI businesses, and they go, oh, that's a strange perspective. I'm ahead of my time sometimes. And all of us in here, we could talk about manifestation, law of attraction, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And people could give you the manifestation, although in the last few years, that's become a hot topic.
But I also think it's you being you and allowing you to attract the tribe that's going to be in alignment with that, right?
I'm just too afraid to get judged into
Is
it.
there anyone in here that feels judged for anything, just putting yourself out there for visibility, for putting out there for a post, putting out there for whatever?
Nice little perspective shift having with
Yeah.
that. I'm trying to see us, and it's funny because Teri, I've learned this a lot through you because you're an amplifier. But I feel like everyone is an amplifier.
Yeah.
So putting yourself out there, it's like money. They say amplify. If you're greedy, money's just gonna amplify that. And if you're a good person, it's gonna amplify that. But I feel that also our messages.
Yeah.
Our messages are just going to amplify what that person already is feeling inside, what they're already going through. So it's not really our job to, because I'm struggling with this too. So I'm trying to just get a different perspective.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't have it be my job how they take it. I can just get the divine guidance, put it out there, and just know it's meant to mean something different for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's up to their creator and then what I am meant to play in their world. But I'm just an amplifier. If I'm going to put it out there, they're going to think it's weird, then okay, that tells me about them. But there's someone who clicks with it.
Okay, tools. How do you, sorry to interrupt, I had to ask this because it's so powerful. How do you do that? How do you get to the point when you're going to post and you're like, this is meant to go out? That would help a lot of people in the world understand how to push past.
Test it.
Yeah, how do you do it? How do you do it?
I've come to a point, so I've gone really deep into what I know and don't know, what I can control, because I've also had a very hard time with defining divine timing, but free will. Like, where is the balance in that? So I try to use what I've pulled together with that so just thinking of how I've thought of the boundary of when I know something is divinely guided, I just need to put it out there. And I just don't know how it's going to affect anyone. I don't know. There's so much I don't know, and I need to remember that. You just don't know.
And that's not your
the
responsibility.
unknown.
That's not your responsibility.
It's how it affects me.
Yeah.
My truth can still affect me for the every single thing in this world has consequences, good or bad.
True.
Like you're talking about, you don't know how someone's going to perceive that. But I really want to hear what you.
But I would also go ahead.
I don't say I love people very often unless I really love people. But you are so beautiful, and I love you, and I love who you are, and I know her from different levels, and your authenticity shines, and you're an example for that. And I would love to hear. You've heard all of us speak, and I've spoken a lot. From this conversation, what do you feel like you're gathering, or what are you impacted by?
I love what you're saying, that you're using discernment. And I always go back to being in alignment with things. For me, if I'm questioning something, like today, no joke, I was like really figuring out what I was going to do these three things. And I was like, I'm just going to test it. I got the testing, and then I tested it. So testing, I use kinesiology or muscle testing. I do an internal sensing process. And for those that are watching, if you want to watch a video, we actually unpack it. I walk you through how to do it. But then I can just be in alignment with that, and it puts me at ease, because then if it's not a timing issue, I know to wait, right? And at the same time, if I'm getting that divine guidance, if I'm testing it, it'll be a yes. Does that make sense? But really, the testing for me is about really getting back into alignment with me. Mm-hmm. It's a validation that says, yep, okay, I can trust this. And the more you test, the more you get in alignment with that, the more you can trust. And at some point, I don't think we ever need that. But when you're questioning that, you can definitely test that.
Well, I asked her question, and you added to that. That's your tool.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest tools, because once you get centered, but then it's okay, what prevents us from putting ourselves out there? Because that judgment, and trust me, I have, I'm dyslexic as well, and so when I get super excited by stuff, and you guys have heard me, and you guys have seen me struggle with words when I've said on here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my brain just cannot lock in on this word. And I used to be so mortified. I was so mortified of that. And I was just like, you know what? If I'm stumbling on a word and somebody hates me for it, they want to judge me for it, let them. Totally let them. But what I have found in me being authentic and yard selling and doing whatever, I use that into the comedic relief, right? I leverage that as the comedy piece, because what I have found when I allow myself to be authentic and when I allow myself to be seen, it gives permission for others to be seen. Because I can't tell you, a few weeks ago, there was something that was happening. I can't remember what it was, but someone came up to me afterwards and they're like, oh my gosh, Teri, you made such a disaster out of that. And you just went with it. And I go, I'm not gonna plan it out. It's not gonna be perfect, right? And I think that was my biggest piece is I didn't post until I was perfect. I didn't post until, holy buckets, the first time I did a Facebook Live, I freaked the dirt off. I'm just telling you, I had it planned, and then it became this whole thing. Hey everyone, we're here. It's so exciting. Welcome. Oh my gosh, I had the most important message of my life, and I'm gonna read it from the script because it's so important, and I love you all. It's so good. And I wish I was joking about that, but I'm not.
So how many of us haven't posted because of that?
Here's how I tell people to do this. Are you guys ready? Write this down. Okay, this is how you do it.
Grab a pen. Write me out.
So you do your first video, okay? I used to just get concepts, and I'd say 1 to 2 minutes, that's it. 1 to 2 minutes, you're not gonna talk forever. 1 to 2 minutes, and you're gonna write down 3 nuggets. I wanna cover these 3 nuggets, okay? You're gonna push play, and then you're gonna record, you're gonna have a little Post-it note up by your little video camera, and there's 3 notes, and hey, blah. You say your things, okay? And then you hit stop, and then you watch it. This is how you watch it, okay, ready? You hit play, you go like this.
I just hear
And then you go like this, and then you might bang. And then you're like, oh my gosh, maybe it's not so bad, okay. And you're gonna do that again and again and again and again and again, and then you're gonna hit delete. Okay, you're gonna do it again. You're gonna do it again. You're gonna do it again until you get comfortable doing it. And then at some point you'll be like, you know what, maybe that wasn't so bad. Okay, I'm gonna keep that one. And I'm gonna keep it. And then you can go and post it or whatever, but it just, for me, and there might be someone that has better ideas, it just took repetition to doing it and getting uncomfortable with just being a disaster at first. Every master was a disaster, right?
But I feel like people are craving that because we had this aesthetic thing go on social media and motherhood was perfect and everybody went on social media and just said how perfect everything was.
Yes.
And now people are sick of it and they want to see people making mistakes, not so they can laugh at them, but to just say, oh, I make those same mistakes. But look, I see her as higher than me, or I see her as better than me. And I think people are craving that, those mistakes, those goofy things that happen, because now we also know that's not AI. That's a real person, a real person like me.
And that's what people are craving, right? And so I will tell you, coming from being mortified, shy, terribly, unbelievably resistant to putting myself out there, nobody's business. Going from that, I just had to keep doing it and keep doing it. So I do the 2-minute videos. Then I got comfortable with that. Then I went into Facebook Lives. And I would freak out. And then I'd come back and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'd get done with the Facebook Live and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'd freak out for 6 more days because I'm like, Tuesday's gonna come again. And then I have to do this video again. And then I'd freak out again. And then pretty soon, I did it so much that I was like, oh my gosh, today's Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Hey, do you wanna do a Facebook Live real quick? I just gotta do this. And then I didn't plan it, I didn't prepare it, right? And then it was like, okay, then I'm gonna do live. Then I started doing live stages. Then I started doing my own stages. Then I started doing live TV. Do you know what I'm saying? It was a progression. And now I get a little bored. And some of you know that I've done stand-up comedy because I'm like, let's try something else because I wanna work this other muscle.
I want to go with you one day.
Oh heavens, girl! Like we're bucket list done, right?
No, your bucket list, the redo list.
Just get yourself out there. And I think to your point, now that AI is coming on, and it was interesting because someone goes, "That's interesting that you're doing a live show," because AI is taking place of all people. Because now what's happening more than ever is that people watching stuff on social media, they are now using these words like, "Nope, they're discounting things so much more because of, nope, that's AI. I can't tell you how many times I ran something or a visual or something into AI. And so people are becoming so much less trusting of what they're seeing, which is a good thing in the sense that we're using discernment now. Yay, teaching discernment as a global lesson. But at the same time, content that is being created, people are just swiping past it because it's like, nope, AI, even if it's not true, they perceive it as true, right?
One of the, okay.
Go ahead.
I want to hear you.
I don't know where I was going with
Swiping.
that. But I think to your point is getting out there. And I know when I met you at that event, like when I was standing on that stage, I made mistakes on that stage. And I find that like when I'm out there speaking, I find that people want to see that. And it's okay. And I feel if I can give people permission that I can take a major stage and still be okay, people are like, oh, it's great. I think it's just getting out there and doing it. People are going to always judge you. And I think Brene Brown said it so well. And before she became really big, I was listening to her and she said, it's like the man in the arena, right? I'll take criticism from other people if you're in the arena with me. If you're not in the arena with me, I'm not taking it. And I think that we have to be really careful on who we're taking those judgments from because a lot of times they're not in the arena with us. They're not growing. I'm being a disaster. I'm getting out there. And I have done so much on here that it's like, oh my gosh, right? And it's not easy for me. This is not easy, but I just feel like I'm like being called to go into what my purpose is. And I truly believe that's an activation and that's an activator where I'm helping support other people in their path in that regards. So let's do this. I want to play with this for a second. Anyone else, the judgment piece? Is that true for people?
I just want to say one thing about.
So, do you know who Simon Wiesenthal? He was a Nazi. He was a Jew that tracked down all the Nazis.
Oh, okay.
After World War II.
Okay.
He opened a museum called the Museum of Tolerance. You go through that museum, you see all of the exhibits, and at the last minute, you have a choice to walk through the red door or the green door. Okay? Because the purpose is, if you don't think you're a person that judges, you go through the green door. If you're willing to admit that you judge, you go through the red door. Guess what? They both come out in the same place because there's no such thing as non-judgmental. We are built for that.
Yeah,
So
100%. Because
I just wanted to share that.
And I think if we can get an allowance of judgment, it changes the game. Because I always say, I'm just going to be an allowance of the judgment. Watch what happens. Just that little tidbit. Just be an allowance of people's judgments, of people's stink eyes. I usually will tell when I'm speaking and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach you something that's really out there. I just don't want any stink eyes, right? So I pre-frame it first. So then they're like, they can't do the stink eye, right? But I'm in what I'm saying basically is I'm being an allowance of the judgment. That I know that it's going to look wackadoo. And then when I'm in allowance of the judgment, it's almost schmutz off. Like it doesn't impact me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. One more thing about the posting. I was going to post my cancer journey after I got over it. And I wasn't going to post it while I was going over it. And I wanted to figure out what I wanted to post or what I didn't want to post. And having that experience with AI is that people are using social media as validation. 5 years ago, where were you? Yeah. Are you a real human? Do you have backstory? Do you have conversation?
Yeah.
So having my journey while I was going through it, people could understand and I would be talking about it on social media. But you're a blessing. This show's a blessing and I appreciate everyone being here today. I want to let someone else.
I'm going to invite you to play with just getting in alignment with posting. Let's do this. Have a seat real quick, and then I'm going to do this for all of you all. I want everyone, if they're willing to play, I want you to close your eyes. What comes up when you think about the judgment of being you, a judgment of posting, the judgment of just being seen in a bigger, more powerful way? Fear, okay. Anything else that comes up for people? Judgment. Do a lot of posting?
I'm actually to the point where I feel like I need to start posting kind of my journey and everything that I went through. And I'm right there. So this is crazy to me that this is the conversation going on here because everything's just speaking to me. And it's like sometimes I want to give advice and I'm like, oh, that's the advice I needed. So I'm Yes, I'm getting mine. I just realized as you said that is fear of being wrong. Or you know how people will go on there and try to prove you wrong. I have a resistance towards that, and I don't know why, because I know that I trust myself and what I know and my knowledge and how deep I go into things. I don't say things lightly. But I don't know, I just got that feeling. It's like fear of being wrong or accidentally putting wrong information out there.
Anytime you're posting stuff, we all have our belief systems, we all have our ways of doing life. And I think that there's gonna be times when we're confronted with that. I know I have. And I had to sit with it being like, you know what, does this resonate with me? And you know what, if we can fall on our sword, and when we can be like, you know what, I get to look at this in a different way, and I get to use this as a growth mode for me versus, nope, I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna be super resistant, I'm not gonna let this person in. I can have that in a different way. And so if I can see it as, you know what, let me just open that up and let me look at what they saw or how they see it or whatever. And does that make sense? I'm not saying that I have to change my opinion about it. It doesn't mean that I have to say that they're right and I'm wrong, or they're right and I'm wrong, whatever. That's like that growth mindset of allowing in new information to come in and shaping us, right? Because I trust that people and situations show up for us for that journey.
To learn from them.
Yeah. I used to be super rigid about certain things. And I was like hard-headed and now I love playing devil's advocate on lots of different things, and nobody knows where I stand on anything because I'm like, ooh, what about this?
Explore both sides.
And I'm like, ooh, but I have that ability to include a lot of people because I don't have to be like, that's right and that's wrong. I'm like, ooh, what do you think about this? Or how about this? Yeah. And I can play all sides. And it's really fun to be in a place because it's inclusive to people. And I call it seed planting. So in a lot of times in my conversations, I'm always like seed planting. And I'm like, ooh. Because even if something is like, oh, but I wonder if they could explore this. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what is missing on our planet right now, is having your opinion, you being in this belief system, and me being in this belief system, and me and you having this conversation. And saying, ooh,
and
what
questions.
can I learn from this? What can you learn from this in a place of love?
Yeah. Do you have that I don't, that you have that belief?
Yeah, and it's, ooh, tell me why. Tell me what you think about that, right?
How did you come to that conclusion?
Yes, and I think it's so beautiful because we are here to grow and expand and evolve, right? And so if we're not having those conversations, we're missing out, I think. We have a lot of people right now on this planet, is we have our blinders on. This is my truth. This is what I'm going to say. And that, I think, is causing a lot of conflict in bigger ways in lots of different settings. We're being like, oh.
And I feel like people can't handle the idea that someone they look up to has range. You see them as professional in this, then maybe they make one joke that you're like, oh, I don't stand with that. But then when you really think about yourself, everybody, they have sort of range, but when it comes to people on the internet, they're not allowed to have it. They're not allowed to be both sides of the spectrum, of the duality.
Yeah.
They have to be, nope, you have to be in this box, believe this thing, you have to be on this side of the coin.
Yeah.
You can't be both. And I think that's hopefully something we're coming into where we can hold two truths at the same time. Or no, maybe that's the truth for Teri, this is my truth. They're contradicting, but that doesn't mean that one of us is right.
Yeah, so. And it's, maybe I hold this one 60% and this one 40%. I don't know. I just think that if we could use discernment and come from a place of non-judgment of ourselves and others as much as possible, of being in a place of creating that space of opportunity and conversation, the world would be healed. Yeah. And I would go and design handbags.
Seriously?
Oh my gosh, yes. My number one was it was going to be designing CD covers, but CD covers doesn't exist anymore, so we had to scratch that dream. Boom. And then it's always been handbags.
But you can do that, right?
I can be your designer. I don't know what they would look like.
Let's collab.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
There you go.
Well, there you go. You speak life into it, and then something happens. Yeah. I don't know. It'd just be fun. The judgment that we have, if we can just be an allowance of it, and when you're walking into a room, when you're walking into a place, there's going to be someone that doesn't like you because you're wearing earrings. There's going to be someone that doesn't like you because you're wearing somewhat of an animal print, right? And I'm not going to be for everyone. And if I can just be in a place of that judgment, be told when I yard sailed, okay, I was like, oh my goodness. And I was the first to laugh at myself. I was about to pee my pants because I was like bent over and everyone was like, are you okay? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just like, I was rolling because I thought it was so funny, right? And I was like, you know what, the judgment of whatever they thought Because then later on, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? They're going to probably think that I was drunk. And I was like, the funny, ironic part of this is that I didn't even have a drink. And I was like, you know what? That's my truth. Whether they think I was drunk or not,
That's their truth.
none of my business. Because whether they thought that or not,
It's none of your business.
I am a certified fun pusher, and I know how to do it well, okay?
I'm Karen Zupa, founder of Complete Business Accounting. We're not your typical accounting firm. At Complete Business Accounting, we partner with you to make sense of your numbers so you can grow with confidence. From strategic bookkeeping to fractional CFO support, we provide the structure, insight, and clarity your business needs to thrive. You don't start a business to be worried about your finances. And with Complete Business Accounting, you won't have to be. Let's move your business forward. Visit cbaccounting.net to get started.
I want to do this really quick clearing just to support all of us in this room. So let's just do this. Just hold that space in your mind, just the judgment of not allowing myself to be seen in the fullest capacity in what I am here to do, to gift my gifts. We talked about this before. It's like you go to a picnic and you have these brownies, and you start slapping people away trying to take your brownies. Your gifts, aka your brownies, are meant to be shared, right? So when you're being fully seen, when you're being fully in allowance of you can give freely. That's the best part of you. Whether that's visually on social media, whether that's in stages, whether that's whatever that is, right? I truly believe what's happening on this planet right now is people are waking up to what they are here to do on this planet, and there's no more excuses. Let's go play. Let's go play. For all the people that are joining us at home, go ahead and tap right here on the karate chop. So I'm just gonna say this, so any and all places that's not allowing you just to tap in, tune in, and turn on that infinite knowing, that infinite wisdom, that allows you to just trust that you are here for something bigger, that you're here to do something and impact people's lives and serve people in the most profound, ethical, powerful ways. And anything that's not allowing you just to let judgment be and just be an allowance of the judgment, anywhere that does not allow that, are you willing to revoke, recant, destroy, and anchor that? Yes, take it within. And out, right or wrong, good and bad, pocket pie, shorts, boys and beyonds. And just out of curiosity, what would it take for me to be an allowance of judgment? Write that question down. Your brain is going to go find how you can be an allowance of it. And the more you're an allowance of it, I tell you, it's a deactivator. Deactivates it. And so when you get ready to do a video, I like to say this statement, okay? And I'm going to bleep it out, okay, because I want to keep it clean. I always, when I start to do something outside of my comfort zone, when I do something that makes me nervous or makes me want to retract and contract versus expand, I'll say, how can I mess this up completely and still succeed with total ease? Okay, I cleaned it up. How's that? Because I usually drop an F-bomb in there, okay? Just saying. But how can I mess this up completely and still succeed with total ease? So that way, when I go in, and if I do have a yard sale, it's not that big of a deal. Because then it's, okay, I just leveraged that because, does that make sense? They leveraged it too, which is good on them, right? Good on them.
But if you would have seen it, it was many people being goofy. It wasn't just her.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what gave me permission to do it. And they had little faces, and it was very playful.
Yeah,
it was.
very playful.
They were being fun pushers. It was very playful, and so that's why I was like, oh, this is funny. And then again, I was like, oh my gosh, this is not a picture, this is a video. And then it was like, oh, mass exit to the left, wipe out. Anywho, but it allows us to be just in that place of judgment, and just notice what shifts, and then obviously write that down as your new evidence, okay? Oh my goodness, I truly believe that you are not meant to be the best kept secret. Your message, your gifts, your story are meant to be seen and heard and shared with the world. Do you live in or are traveling to Colorado? Be sure to connect to get a seat right here in the live studio action. Thank you so much for being a part of the Entrepreneur Girlfriend Hour. And as always, be bold, be brave, be fearless, be the magic of you. We'll see you on the next episode.